With any project, there's an environmental footprint. But what the SWECO-PIC report clearly says is that the footprint of this job meets the environmental emission limit guidelines that have been established by the Tasmanian government for the project.
Not all of them.
Subject to the 21 conditions that have been identified in the report being met.
The report says that where Gunn's proposal is deficient, permit conditions can bring it up to scratch. One deficiency is familiar: uncertainty about the precise impact of the effluent from the mill on the marine environment. Opponents of the mill remain cynical. Are you reassured to some extent that at least this problem has been identified and reinforced by the SWECO-PIC report? And what's your feeling about that?
SWECO-PIC report's done nothing that the other reports have done, and we're going to have a bureaucrat now, evidently, is going to put permit conditions on the outfall out of the pipe to be monitored by probably another bureaucratic system that will be told how high to jump by John Paul.
By the Premier?
No, John Paul. John and Paul.
Oh, John and Paul.
They run the place, yeah. John Paul, we call him now, John Paul.
You're talking about, sorry, John Gay and Paul Lennon.
That's it. John Paul for short. We should call him John Paul II, the Pope.
The SWECO-PIC report states odours from the mill stack won't be a problem, but Dr Mannins is disappointed. The report doesn't address the main issue in relation to smell, so-called fugitive emissions.
It is the issue that surrounds every pulp mill, and it has to be properly addressed. There has to be assessments of the fugitive emissions of these odours, and you have to work out the approximate areas and people who would be affected, and decide whether that's an appropriate price to pay for the operation of a pulp mill.
It's 10 days ago in Kings Park, Launceston, and Barry Chipman is helping the Forestry Union to organise a rally in support of the pulp mill.
Hey boys, all grab a t-shirt. Grab a t-shirt on over the top of your coat.
The timber industries feel it's time to take a stand. They're paying their workers for being here on company time.
Now, wait a minute.
Look in the bed, all right?
Now we're advertising the true world.
The government's task force stated that not one extra tree will be cut down to feed the mill. But the forestry community is here to say their future growth depends on the pulp mill going ahead.
Now, there's a beautiful sign there. I'm proud to be the wife of a logger.
Initially, the mill will use native forest wood chips as its primary feedstock. Without the pulp mill, your future is threatened.
Yes, most certainly. Our future's not... No, our future isn't threatened. What is threatened, though, is the ability to continue to grow and prosper. People that work in the forest industry and its communities want to see our industry continue to grow and prosper, and the pulp mill is going to deliver that, and that's what we're looking for.
Guns say the feedstock will shift primarily to plantation timber as it comes on stream. But the timber workers' old foes, the Wilderness Society, remains suspicious.
The massive appetite of the proposed pulp mill will lock in a level of logging in Tasmania that is completely unsustainable and will be greater than what is happening at the moment.
If that group ever succeed in closing down Tasmania's forest industry, they will then turn on our colleagues in other industries and will not be satisfied until we all sit back in caves knitting beanies.
Speaker after speaker drive home the same message: the economic benefits of the mill and the jobs.
It is not just critical for the timber industry in northern Tasmania. It is vital for the whole Tasmanian economy. This project is vital for the jobs of blue-collar industrial workers. Thousands of working-class families are reliant on this project proceeding without further delays. Friends, the CFMEU will apologise to nobody for defending industrial workers' jobs. Here, here.
The crowd is only half that of the anti-pulp mill rally a few weeks before, but the major political parties are here. The leader of Tasmania's Liberal opposition and Labor Premier, Paul Lennon. His message is that Tasmanians can now have it all.
Independent reports have told us that we can have the best of both worlds. We can have economic and environmental security. So it's time. It's time to have a world-class pulp mill. It's time to secure our future, the future of our forest communities. I'm here because it's time.
There's little doubt now that John Gay will finally get his pulp mill. In his mind, it seems that it's already built.
We've actually been able to build a mill that will meet all the environmental guidelines, and that's all we can expect to do. It's up to the Parliament now to approve it.
Parliament's vote is in 4 weeks' time, and the numbers are expected to go John Gay's way. Only the federal government or the federal court could spoil the day for the head of guns, and that appears unlikely. Because of the legal proceedings, John Gay declined to speak with Four Corners. But this kind of victory for guns will come at a cost for all Tasmanians, whatever side they take in the pulp mill dispute. It will leave a community bitterly divided, not just over the outcome, but over the ways and means to get to that end.
I'm concerned at the closeness between our government and the company, and that's probably all I'm prepared to say about that.
I would have thought it would be important for all business to have a good relationship with government. I don't know anything more than that.
Build the bloody pulp mill! Build the bloody pulp mill!
Next week, Four Corners investigates a controversial drug-free treatment for ADHD and other learning problems. Four Corners, 8:30 next Monday night.